Go. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. And welcome back to Cowra Shire Council's Ordinary Council meeting. So, in accordance with the Local Government Act 1993, Cowra Council is recording this meeting and will upload the recording to Council's website. By speaking at this meeting, you agree to being recorded and having that recording published in the public domain. Please ensure that when you speak at council meetings, you are respectful to others and use appropriate language at all times. Cowra Council accepts no liability for any defamatory or offensive remarks or gestures made during the course of this meeting. I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather, the Wiradjuri people, and pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging. We have an apology from Councillor Erin Watt, and everyone else is present. Thank you very much. I need a mover and a seconder. Councillor West, Councillor Kiss, thank you very much. All in favour? Those against? Carried. Disclosure of interest. Council and staff, please indicate in relation to any interest you need to declare what report item you are declaring an interest in, whether interest is pecuniary or non-pecuniary, and what is the nature of the interest. Councillor Downing. Yes, of course.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to declare a non-pecuniary interest in item 6.1, which is DA number 39/2023. Until recently, I've worked for the applicant and was involved in the initial stages of the application, so I'll leave the room.
Thank you. Anyone else have Councillor Kiss?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item 5.3, the Section 355 Committee Youth Council. My child is a Youth Council member. It's a non-pecuniary interest and I will remain in the chamber.
Thank you, Councillor Kiss. Any further declarations? Councillor West?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. DA 39/2023, non-pecuniary interest. I'll stay in the chamber, but I have a commercial interest with the developer's company, accounting company.
Thank you, Councillor West. I will declare an interest in 6.1 DA 39/2023 as my husband is involved in the development. Not sure how, but it may be a pecuniary interest and he has an involvement and has been dealing with the applicant. Thank you. Anyone else? No, I'm leaving the room. Any further? No, don't. Okay, so we have presentations. No presentations. We have a public forum. There are no members of the public registered to speak. And now I need the confirmation of the minutes of the ordinary meeting on the 18th of December, which seems like forever ago. Somebody move that, please. Councillor Judy Smith and Councillor Paul Smith. Thank you. Now I'll put that motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. And now we have my mayoral minute about the Central New South Wales Joint Organisation Board meeting on November the 2023. And if somebody, I'll move that, but I need somebody to second it. That would be great. Sorry, my phone's ringing. Councillor West, thank you. Any comments about this mayoral minute? Any questions? It seems like a long time ago, November 2023. I can probably remember most things, but it's pretty complicated. I do have the road map, or the, whatever they call it, a map, some sort of place map, they keep calling it. It's a place map. And they provided these to us. It's all, and I'll put it in the room, in the members' room, because it does actually give you a bit of an overview of what water priorities there are for the region. So I'll put it in there. We have one here, but it'll give you some idea of what they're talking about when they talk about the placemat, because they talk about this placemat all the time, and if you don't understand it, that's what it is. Councillor West.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just in seconding the motion, congratulations on your involvement with the JO, and I think it's important we recognise as a council the value proposition of the joint organisation in the financial terms, which is presented for us, but also the value proposition for joint organisation and the councils to work collaboratively across the region, which I think has great benefit to not just this shire, but for the region to grow and to extend its footprint. And the importance of going to Sydney and talking to our federal and state politicians should never be underestimated. And I think this council has in the past been very proactive in these organisations, and I would encourage, I know you are, but I would encourage our council to continue to support the joint organisation, both for the benefit of this council, this community, and also the region. And so I congratulate you on the report. I know it's a generic report, but nonetheless, I think it's something the council need to be aware of and be supportive of.
Thank you to Councillor West. As Councillor Keats.
Just briefly, I just wanted to acknowledge our Mayor, Councillor Fagan, and her portfolio mayoral role for the regional prosperity, which I think will be very interesting to see what the outcome is there. Well done.
Thank you, Councillor Kiss. I'd just like to comment, if I could make that, we did mention this at our information meeting about the couple of things that it was on my agenda, a couple of things that I brought up with the ministers at this meeting at State Parliament House. One was the apprenticeship scheme, the other one was the bridge, and we're hoping to get the Minister for Transport to come and talk about the second bridge crossing. And the third thing was, can't remember, but it was on that agenda that I put out in the information meeting. But there, it is important that we go to Parliament House. It is important that we have face-to-face with the ministers. The other thing was that with the Premier trying to talk him into investing in regional infrastructure so that we could actually attract more people or more residents. That's the third thing we spoke about. They were all, they're all sitting in front of you. They actually know who you are. It does make a huge difference to be able to be there and advocate for what we want. So we will follow those things up as the year progresses. Those things need to be followed up. It's very well to be there. You actually confront them. They say yes, that's great, and then you go away. And if you don't follow up, then it doesn't actually happen. So we will be following those things up in the coming 12 months. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone further comments or? Yes, Councillor Smith.
Just a question. You were talking about the need for more regional infrastructure. What sort of infrastructure were you talking about?
We're talking about spending on sewerage and those sorts of infrastructure projects, hopefully getting some more money for water and sewerage. That would be, we've already got lots of money for roads, but that was another thing that we thought this was a priority. The water situation's a priority, as well as our sewerage system is a priority for us. So and developing more sewerage. So not more sewage, but more infrastructure. The West Cowra sewerage project. Sorry, Councillor Smith. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Any further questions?
Yes. The portfolio, is that in our JO or is it state level JO?
It's in our JO, and it's across. And we talked about this last week too about the tourism. I'm chairing the tourism meetings, so that that's one of those activities in that portfolio. I'm about to have a briefing on what my other portfolio activities will be, but it looks quite large, and there's quite a few things that you get involved in and you actually push for the region as far as being chair of that organisation.
You also mentioned in the beginning of the briefing, mental health was a theme on the day. Is there anything major come out of that? Just talking about they need more money to go into it. And
actually, there wasn't much about mental health. Was that in the minutes?
themes of the day, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was one of the things. I don't remember that being big.
That's all right.
Perhaps my recollection, Madam Mayor, was that in talking to the Minister for Water, I think, I talked about the impending drought. I think there was those from the council's mayors were talking about the impact on the mental health, particularly of the rural communities. So that was certainly, and that seemed a bit of an eye-opener to some of the politicians in the room.
It did. That actually was. But since then it's rained a lot, so maybe it's not going to be a theme.
Well, I must, in that case, I must congratulate you from changing from the impending drought to the impending wet season. It's also causing considerable mental hardship to some producers.
Look, there's always going to be mental hardship, Councillor Wright. I don't take that lightly, but it was a theme at the time. Okay, well, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Those against? Carried. Thank you. The General Manager, Section 355 Committee meeting minutes of CBD Committee. Councillor Delbo, Councillor Downing. Would you like to speak, Councillor Delbo?
Yes, thank you. Madam Mayor, we closed off 2023 with 2 meetings. And in front of you tonight, you have the meeting minutes for November and December. It's a busy committee. We have a constant delivery of data at each meeting, at the beginning of each meeting, so I would like to extend appreciation to Pony Dewitt, council staff member, and Kurt Overzet at the Cowra Tourism for turning up each meeting and providing us with a breakdown, a summary of spend map and localis tourism data. As you can see in the meeting minutes, our main focus was the CBD activation strategy and the appointment of a consultant, which I want to thank Council for the support with that recommendation going through. We have Kickstart 2024 with one meeting thus far. On page 47, there are some other items that were discussed by the committee at the December meeting, and mostly around the Cowra Cash card and how that was going to be facilitated going forward. It is currently under the Cowra Business Chamber, and we have 2 committee members actively pursuing that with the local chamber and with Wyleave Town, who actually administrate the card. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Delbo. Councillor Downing?
Yes, no, well summed up by Councillor Delbo. Just to say that this committee is really enthusiastic and we're really looking forward to what we can do this year. So,
Thank you. Any further comments?
Yes,
Councillor Wright?
a couple of questions. The cash card was mentioned and it's not in operation at the moment, but there's another card put up by the visitor centre, a tourism card, don't leave Cowra or something, don't leave town.
same thing.
It's the same thing, is it? Yeah. Yeah. That's good. In any of the discussions has telecommunication access up and down the street been mentioned that needs upgrading, like internet provision and so forth?
We haven't got into that level of detail yet. I think that will come out in the wash when we have our workshop, our community and business workshop. We've just been concentrating on the structure and getting to that day. So, yeah.
Thanks,
And
Councillor
the
Wright.
last question is,
Yes. A question, yes.
Hmm?
Yes, Councillor Wright.
that data seems very interesting, to where you spend money and so forth. Would some sort of form of report be able to come to an information meeting, please?
Yes, we can follow.
I'm sure Councillor Delbo will
Oh,
make that
yeah.
happen.
No, we haven't had it.
No.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just so the ones that aren't on the committee have an idea of what you're looking at. That's
No,
all.
that's good. I know the tourism gets the localis, tourism board gets localis, and it's interesting too. So I think it'd be good. Thank you. Thanks for the suggestion. Any other further comments? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Write a reply, Councillor Delbo. Okay, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you very much. The Director of Corporate Service Investments on page 48. Sorry, move this. Councillor West, Councillor Delbo, Councillor West, would you like to speak?
Only briefly, Madam Mayor, thank you. This data, this information we see every meeting, it's probably similar in every meeting, and I was thinking about this the other day, that it probably reflects the stability of this council and the way we go about doing business, is that there's no major changes, no major dramas, no major hiccups, and that's credit to, I think, the stability of the council and the stability of the management of the senior staff. Obviously, there are changes from time to time. The recovery of rate payments is still tracking where it normally does track. The other one that did cross my mind was that there's a lot of conversations around affordability of living standards these days, and interest rates for one which seems to attract a lot of attention. And it's a double-edged sword in some respects, that if people who have committed to a house or committed to some expensive borrowings, then they can have a little bit of pain in terms of interest rates when they do rise. There's some people might have money in the bank, so they tend to get a little bit of a bonus. But in terms of councils, there's a significant conversation in the landscape around special rate variations around the financial situation of councils. But I think it's worth pointing out that when interest rates go up 1%, for example, it puts a reasonable amount of, I wouldn't say buffer, but it puts a fair amount of security, or an increased amount of security in the council's financial position. not just this council, but I suspect councils across the landscape that are being well managed. So I think when we talk about interest rates and the disadvantage and the concerns, I think we also need to bear in mind that an organisation like council, they're providing so many services for so many in our community, and we have to watch every cent that we have. An interest rate rise of 1%, I'm not advocating for it. I'm not saying it's a great concept, but it's something we need to bear in mind that does have a positive benefit on the cash position of councils, which in turn benefits the entire community. But backward way of looking at it for some people perhaps, but I think there is something that we need to be aware of, and 2% certainly provides a certain amount of comfort, if you like, in terms of doing our financials.
Thanks, Councillor West. Councillor Delbo.
Yes, thank you. Madam Mayor, I just noted in the investment report, our portfolio, that we had 16 term deposits coming to the end of their term in January, the month we're in now, which I think would make it our busiest month for the end of term deposits, if this table is correct. So I just wanted to thank the staff for the additional time that's required for that, and to see that the interest rate is getting better for our investments. Through the Mayor, I would like to ask if it is possible for us to maybe get some information in an information meeting on these investments and our loans, as in regards to, we have multiple investments ending on the one day. I know there's rules around what we can put with banks and how much, and I just wanted to get a clearer understanding of how we determined who we go with and how much money goes into each of those deposits, please. And I'm sure it's quite linked into other things of council too. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Michael.
Through the chair, the finance team is guided by our investments policy. We operate under fairly strict rules from New South Wales Treasurer as to the types of investments and the rating of those investment houses. So you'll note that all of these investments are S&P rated A1, A plus, A1 plus, etc. So their investments policy is basically what drives us in that. There are also percentages around how much we can invest with one single institution as well. So hence why we have that split over predominantly the major four banks and a couple of the smaller banks as well.
Can I ask a question, Michael, if I could? Do we go to brokers to get these investments, or do we ring each bank individually and ask them what they're doing?
My understanding is we ring each bank individually. We have account managers with each of these institutions that we call upon, or go to their websites, our web pages, account web pages that we can look up these daily rates.
Excellent. Yes, you do have account managers. I'm pretty sure that's what most councils have with different banks. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the information. Any further questions, Michael? Any questions of the finances? In that case, I'll put the motion. All in favour? All against? Thank you. Carried. So we're up to the release of closed decisions. That's on page 57. Somebody move that. Councillor Downing, Councillor Kiss. Any comment, Councillor Downey? Any other comments? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. And now we have the Section 355 Committee draft minutes for Cowra Youth Council, Councillor Judy Smith and Councillor Delbo. Yep. Councillor Smith, you'd like to speak?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Just a couple of things. We were due to have our welcome party, which was in lieu of a Christmas party. Christmas was just too chock-a-block. Last Wednesday, I think it was, the day that we had lots of rain and thunderstorms and that sort of thing, and as it was going to be at the Cowra pool, it was put off until the following day, but less than half of the members could make it on the following day. So as yet, we haven't yet had one, and we may not get to have one because a number of members are away. What we will definitely be having on the 7th of February is our annual working afternoon, evening, which goes for about 4 hours, where we plan what we're interested in doing and what we've committed to do for the year. So that's happening in a couple of weeks.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Councillor Delbo, would you like to comment? Is there any further comments, any questions? That's not the case. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Now we have the Director of Environmental Services Development Application number 39, 2023, and I will be leaving the room. Councillor Smith.
Okay, we've got item 6.1, development application 39/2023, lot 14, 1239980 Cowra Road, Cowra, 16 lot subdivision lodged by W. Murphy. Do I have anybody who wants to move the recommendation? Councillors Wright and Kiss. Councillor Wright, would you like to comment? Councillor Kiss.
Thank you, Chair. Look, I second what Councillor Wright has said, in particular about the concern about the stormwater management. And I would like to assure the residents that the Infrastructure and Operations Department are aware of potential concerns, and that they have advised that there'll be stormwater management measures put in place prior to any subdivision work certificate. And I would like to also thank Director Larissa for her mention of the contributions payable being potentially adjustable depending on how long it takes for the properties to be sold. That was definitely one of my questions. And look, if I may, through the chair, there was only one question that I had. It was to do with the proposed length of the deferral. It mentions that, yes, that it can definitely be deferred as far as the payment's concerned, and I'm quite happy to support that. But do we actually have a specific period of time, as in dates, or it's just a general length of deferral based on how long it takes to sell the properties? Thank you.
Through the chair, it's usually conditioned as a 12-month period for the deferral of those payments.
Anybody else? Councillor Smith?
Yes, I too had some concerns about some of the areas being flood prone, particularly given that weather these days tends to be more unpredictable, and often 1 in 100 and 1 in 1,000 year floods come very much more often than that. But I do thank the Director for her answers to my questions that set my mind at rest about that, and about the agreement to defer the Section 7.11 contributions that will accrue interest at the going rate for the period of the deferral, and I think that that's right and proper, and this is something that we had done for the earlier part of the subdivision. So I'm in favour of it.
Any other Councillor West?
Thank you. Just very briefly, Councillor Smith, obviously I support the recommendation and support what my colleagues have had to say. I would just, and I've raised this for the Director, just request that in coming matters such as this, I know the reduction of the addresses or where people may be living is important in some respects, but it also makes it easy for us to actually go and have a look on the land as to where the actual issues that may be impacting on a particular resident may be lying. So I understand the difficulties, but it would make it easier. And just having a look at the issue of water, for example, we talk flooding, everybody assumes it's the Lachlan River. When you look at the land over there, there's two different systems. There's 2 different areas and 2 different drainage points. And some of them may be impacted by drainage, which is not going to be impacted by this development at all, but may have surface flooding based on what's already happening, as opposed to what we perceive may be the 1 in 100 year level, which is not existent in this particular matter. So it can be a little bit confusing unless you look at it very carefully. But all in all, it's a good report and well put together. Thank you.
Councillor Delbo?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I too will be supporting this application. It's a beautiful area of Cowra. I don't believe they'll have too much complications in selling this, it's particularly with the existing zoning of the site and the size of the lots. My only concern that I had with it that has been addressed by staff information is that obviously this was to be a 2-stage process. One, the first stage approved before my time at council. My concern was in regards to 1 road in, 1 road out. And on page 93 and 94, we see that just by chance this weather that we have and continue to have, if the back of it floods, and clearly on the maps we have here that the front of it could also flood, knowing full well that we do have construction plans for road and water to come back to us for approval, to council, we can't guarantee that they both won't happen at once. So my concern laid with how do people get out if they're trapped. And obviously that would be an enormous amount of rain, and we do live in times where unpredictability is quite high. So that was my largest concern that I had. But I wish the developer all the success with this site, and housing is much needed in Cowra. Thank you very much.
Councillor Wright, a reply.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yes, all the concern is to do with how water moves on and off this proposed lot, and that with the stormwater drainage plan, and with the development, it should be able to manage water, to control it in a more managed way, rather than where it is now, where it just falls and runs to a point. I trust that the planning people can do something good there, and Councillor Delbo's thought about the road. I did think about that too, but it's all to do with the planning, and and what infrastructure they put in to get the water from one side to the other and so forth. It did mention that it's not on the river, but this 1 in 100 year event, it's on all developments, and you've got to be able to control the water on your lot, whether it's in Redfern Street or down here. If you get a 1 in 100 year rain event, how you handle the water. It's not just if you get a flood event. So all developments have to meet that criteria, and we also wish them all the best.
Thank you, councillor Wright. Okay, I'll put the motion. This is DA, councillors. In favour? Carried.
Thank you. Right, so we have now we have section 355 committee minutes for the draft access committee meetings held 23rd of October and 11th of December. Moved page number 140. Somebody can move that? If somebody move that?
I'll move.
Thanks, Councillor Wright. And somebody second it? Councillor Smith, Judy Smith. Thank you. So Peter, would you like to speak?
Yes, reading the minutes, it's a quite active little committee. Well, it's not little, it's got a good number of people there. They all are very interested in the access for the community around our shire, particularly in the town areas. They have implemented a few things to try and improve it and highlighted a few other things. One thing in the minutes to do with crossing Kendall Street between Macquarie Street and Lachlan Street, they might want to put the Imperial Hotel in instead of the Lachlan Hotel.
So there's a slight adjustment or a slight change to the minutes. Would
Yeah,
be,
I see
noticed
what they're
that
going to do. It'd be interesting to see what they have got to do, as long as it doesn't impede traffic moving up and down the street with wide loads and so forth. But the one up in front of the Lachlan Hotel seems to work not too bad. And I see they're keen on the adaptive mountain bike track, and the following meeting I see that it's only for a proposed. If we do put in a mountain bike track, we haven't jumped the gun and have one operating, and we want to include this one in it. So I congratulate them on there, and they've highlighted things that need to be included or updated in our management plan and so forth. And congratulate them.
Thanks, Councillor Wright. Councillor Smith, would you like to comment?
Thank you. I'd just like to congratulate Councillor Kiss on her re-election as chair, and Mr Jacket on his re-election as deputy chair. I know Councillor Kiss does a lot of work for this very active committee, and it's obviously appreciated by the members of the committee.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Any further comment? Councillor Kiss.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And the reason I didn't put my hands up, obviously, was because the recommendation is to accept me as the chair of the committee, and I didn't feel it appropriate to necessarily move it myself that I would be accepted, but I would appreciate it, obviously, if the council did support that. It is a privilege to not only be on the committee, but also obviously to serve. And I have a very active vice chair and experienced in Danny Jacket. He's been on the committee even longer than myself, so I often go to him for support on what's happened in previous years. And look, I'd also just like to mention briefly too, I wouldn't be in the minutes at this point, but that our Access Incentive Fund, the details are now available online to be viewed. They're now on our website. So that's been a very new adjustment. So it's wonderful to see it up there. Hope to get some photos up there too once we have been able to access the Access Incentive Fund a bit as well. And thank you, Councillor Wright, for pointing out that it's the Imperial, not the Lachlan. I read it and didn't even see past it. So I will make sure that that is adjusted in the draft minutes. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kiss. Any further comment?
May I please
Councillor
just
Debo,
yep,
yes.
make one slight recommendation. In the meeting minutes, we refer to people in their first name. We have 2 Nickies on your committee, including yourself, that I can see. So I was just a bit confused as to which Nicky's actioning what. So either the position title of the staff member or the surname also would be fantastic. But congratulations on your progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dewar. Councillor Downing.
I'd just like to say thank you for making the adjustments. We had a couple of points last meeting that we discussed these minutes and they've all been corrected and they look really good. So congratulations and thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Downing. Councillor Wright, would you like a word of reply?
Just to say, it's becoming an important area of council's business is this inclusiveness. Wherever you go, it's high on the agenda, and the people that need inclusiveness are becoming more mobile, and we need to have facilities to handle them. And I just once again thank the committee for the work they're doing.
Thank you, Councillor Wright. I'll put the motion. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you. No late reports. And now we will move into confidential matters. And so I'll now take a motion to close the meeting to the public to consider the following confidential reports. A request for water account adjustment assessment number 45481 and a request for water account adjustment assessment number 70620, 152 and 179. So somebody move. These matters be considered to be confidential under Section 10A(2)(b) of the Local Government Act, and the Council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would be, on balance, be contrary to the public interest, as it deals with discussion in relation to the personal hardship of a resident or ratepayer. And item 10.1, request for tender, purchase of 14-tonne roller, plant 125. This matter is considered to be confidential under Section 10A(2)(d)(i) of the Local Government Act, and the Council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would on balance be contrary to the public interest, as it deals with commercial information of a confidential nature that would, if disclosed, prejudice the commercial position of the person who supplied it. I move that we go into closed committee. Councillor Kiss, Councillor Smith, Judy Smith. I put the motion. All those in favour?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you.